his poem, to his core mysteries is another quoting poem. Okay, another poem in which the speaker tries to persuade the lady to have sex with him. So this is the third one we come across. Okay, let me show you a performance first. It is a very interesting one. No, let me explain it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to appreciate it. Okay. Again, there are three-part structures to this poem. Had we but word enough and time, if we had. So this is a subjunctive, 假设语气. So the first, here the speaker gives a hypothetical situation to say that if we can do A, then we can do B. So if we have enough time, then I'll take the time and all the spaces to court you. So this is the first part. Because just again, pay attention. Because you deserve this state, nor will I love at lower rate. Because you deserve being courted so elaborately for such a long time with so many words and so many in so many different places. Okay, but a transition. But we don't have time. Okay, but like when I said we don't have time, it's really very plain, uninteresting. But the poet uses some really interesting comparisons, expressions. He said, "At my back, I always hear time's winged chariot hurrying near." Okay, remember last time we talked about Father Time as one with the sickle, 有那个镰刀的 Father Time. And here another image of time is that it always rides a chariot running through. Okay, so and the chariot runs fast because it has wings. 好，几乎是在飞的一样。So at my back, I always hear time's winged chariot hurrying near. Yonder all before us like desert of vast eternity. 我们中文会讲说前不见古人，后不见来者。And there we feel a sense of desolation. But here, there is a sense of urgency. Because time is pushing us forward. But then, when we look forward, we don't see a good prospect. What we see is the desert of eternity. In other words, human beings turn into nothingness. Okay, so behind, because of the chariot of time, we know that we don't have that much time, and then we are facing nothingness, in the front. So then, the speaker goes on elaborating how we don't have that much time. So this is the but part, and then now therefore, then it comes the proposition. So to his core mystery, it develops in a way slightly different from the poems we have so far. The sonnets and the flea makes a proposal first. Okay, but here into his core mysteries, it gives a hypothetical situation and then denies it, and then makes a proposition at the end. Okay, so let me explain the meaning. Have we but word enough and time? This coyness, 就矜持, okay, lady, we're no crime. We will sit down and think which way to walk and pass our lone love's day. Thou by the Indian Ganges side should rubies find, and I by the tide of Humber would complain. Wait, I forgot where Humber is, but Ganges, 印度的恒河, I think Humber is in England, but somewhere in Europe. Anyway, okay. So in other words, if we had enough time, then you could stay in India, and I'll be in Europe, pining after you, and you can be as aloof as if you were in India, and I'll make sure that I'll find you someday. Okay, so this is a way to exaggerate, to say that if we have enough time, then I don't mind. You can keep away from me as far as possible, even at two ends of this world. Okay, we can be far apart from each other. I will love you 10 years before the flood. The flood marks the beginning of human history, right? According to Bible. So I will love you even before the human history begins. And you should, if you please, refuse till the conversion of the Jews. In other words, till the end of the human history, according to the Bible. Okay, so we can continue to love from the beginning of human history to the end of the world. And that's the vast span of time we'll use to core, and you can stay quiet, and you can continue to refuse me. And my vegetable love should grow vaster than empire and more slow. This has a reference to different stages of love of the soul. Okay, like vegetable, something else, and rational. And the reference you'll get to see very soon. But basically, here he compares love to vegetable that can expand, like grasses, expand over space. My love will continue to grow, and it will be vaster than empires and more slow. It will grow even more slowly than the growth of an empire. And 100 years should go to praise thine eyes, and on thy forehead gaze, 200 to adore each breast. So this is in the courtier love tradition, or the love sonnet tradition. In love sonnet, a lady is praised in details. Each part of the lady, from the eyes, the forehead, the skin, the breast, the hands, the hair, etc., etc., is enumerated to be praised. Okay, so here Andrew Marvel is kind of parodying, 就是嘲讽传统的那个爱情诗 to say that, if I do have time, I'll write a lot of love sonnets. I'll praise you. I'll use 100 years to praise your eyes and forehead, and then 200 years to adore each of your breasts. So that means 400 years altogether, and 30,000 to the rest, and then 3万年. I use 30,000 years to praise the rest. An age at least to every part, and the last age should show your heart. Okay, so again, the first part of this part shows that he'll go to a large distance to court the lady. He doesn't mind the distance between him and the lady, even if the lady is in another continent, is in India. He'll go all the way to India to court her. Okay, and then he'll use a lot of time, even if it means that the time starts from the beginning of human history to the end of human history. He'll do so much, he'll use so much time, he'll cover so much space if they had enough time. Okay, because he says you deserve it. You are so beautiful, and I wouldn't love less because you are so great. But here he started to talk about how time is limited. Okay, besides talking about using the very general image, because time being a chariot or eternity meaning desert are two typical images describing time in traditional poetry. What is striking is actually what follows. The images he uses to compare to describe the shortness of time or the shortness of life. Okay, thy beauty shall no more be found, nor in thy marble vault shall sound my echoing song. Okay, so time is passed very quickly, and then you will not be able to find your beauty, in thy marble vault. The marble vault has two implications. One is grave. When you are in your grave, you will no longer be beautiful. And the other is the vagina. When the vagina turns marble, in other words, becomes dead, okay, then you will also no longer be beautiful, and then I'll no longer sing my echoing song, my love song to you there, because I'll be dead too. Okay, so that's the first idea, and the very after the traditional images of time and space, we have very scary images of death here. An echoing song, because there the vault will be empty. You'll be just your bones, or even your bones will be disintegrate and become nothing and vanish. So my songs will be echoing. Okay, but then with nobody to listen to. Okay. Then worms shall try the long-preserved virginity. Your quaint honor turned to dust. So in the graveyard, in your grave, only worms will try your virginity. And your quaint honor, your very precious honor, will become dust. Into ashes all my lust, and graves a fine and private place, but none, I think, do their embrace. Okay, so right away, after the first stanza showing the vastness of time and space, we have a sense of claustrophobia. 就是像是一个非常禁闭的一个空间。The strong sense of limitation there. That in the first stanza they seem to be roaming around through time and through space, and so freely and so slowly. But all of a sudden, the two of them get compressed into the marble vault, which is also the grave, and they cannot embrace there. And that's the sense of urgency, he conveys to the lover. Okay, and I think what is very interesting and very great about the poem is indeed the use of exaggeration to make us feel that time is indeed very limited, and then we really should cherish the limited time we have. Okay, and you see, here when I use plain language, it seems that there's nothing special. But let's see how he talks about cherishing the limited time in the third stanza. Now, therefore, while the youthful hue sit on thy skin like morning dew, and while thy willing soul transpires at every pore with instant fire, now let us sport us while we may. Okay. So what the poet wants to say is that while you are still beautiful, but then he says that your youthful hue, 你的那个年轻的那个光芒 ，okay， 那个色彩 ，okay， sits on your skin like the morning dew, and you know that morning dew evaporates very quickly. As soon as the sun comes up, there's no dew visible on the grass. So morning dew is one very transient thing that is used to compare to the youthful hue, the rosy cheeks or the youthfulness that the lady and also you demonstrate on yourself, your bodies, and your actions, and they are all very vanishing very fast, as you go along. And then thy willing soul transpire. 就是那个色彩会消失，就连这个灵魂都会消失。The soul, the willing soul transpire at every pore， 就是每一个那个 pore 怎么讲？那个毛细孔。Okay, it's like we usually talk about sweating, the sweat coming out of the pores, but then here it seems that our soul will transpire, will be vanishing through our pores too. Okay, but then the transpiring of the soul happens with instant fire. So it's like the body evaporates together with being energized. 就整个身体是在产生它的热量，产生它的火，它的光芒，可是同时也是在像是那个灰烬开始被烧尽。Okay, so it's this idea of the mortality, the shortness of our life, the transience of human lives that the poet is describing. So while life is being spent, so quickly, let it sport us while we may. And now, like amorous birds of prey, rather at once our time devour than languish in his slow chapped power. So sport us while we may. 它这个基本上是它的那个观念，就是那个 carpe diem， 就是 gather ye rosebud while ye may， 就你要及时行乐，要有花的时候，什么花开堪折直须折 ，and that's the idea, right? Okay, but here the speaker does not talking about plucking the flower. He talks about using their own bodies, sporting their own bodies. Using the bodies in the most active way possible, okay, and also making them like amorous birds of prey. 好，就是在这个世界里面是弱肉强食。那如果你不吃，别人就吃你；你不吃别人，别人就吃你。And that's the basic idea. But here 别人 becomes time. If you don't eat time, time will eat you up. Okay, so like amorous birds of prey, at once our time devour our time, swallow up our time, and make the best of use of it, rather and then languish in his slow chap power. So if we don't eat up time, time will eat us up. Slow chap 就是那个它的那个像那以前那个电玩里面的小精灵。我不知道你们有没有玩过那游戏哈，恰恰恰恰恰恰 it will eat us up. Okay, the images here are really vivid, vivid descriptions of the loss of our energies. How we are always losing our energies to time and to mortality. Yeah. Okay, and finally, so here there are two letters. First, let us sport us. Let us eat time. Let us roll all our strength and all our sweetness up into one bowl, and tell our pleasure through rough strife. This could be hard to understand because I think there are two implications here. One is sex. Roll all our strength and our sweetness into one bowl. Okay, it means that we'll use our bodies to the fullest, so that we are united into one, like one ball. All our strength and all our sweetness. So sexual act is one implication, but then on the other hand, it's still the implication of eating. Passing through life like eating up things. If we don't eat up things, then things will eat us up. Okay, time will eat us up. So we'll tell our pleasure. It's like pleasure being a piece of meat or a piece of fruit, and you pluck it very violently, okay, in order to eat it. Okay, with some struggle, with some efforts. Okay, as we go along in one bowl, okay, through the iron gates of life. Thus, though we cannot make our son stand still, we'll make him run. Okay, so I think the last two lines is the most witty one, because here what the poet or the speaker wants to say is that we should really cherish our time. We should really make the best use of our bodies and be united in sex. Okay, while we can. Okay, so to talk about sex and the best use of time, he uses sporting us. He uses a lot of actions, actions in terms of eating, but then and also rolling the two bodies into one bowl. Okay, but then although we are one bowl, we still need to face death, and the death means the iron gates of life. Okay, so we rush towards the iron gates of life, and we are aware that time is passing. So we cannot make the sun stand still. Then we'll make him run. Okay, at least our life is energetic. our life is not static. And so that's the idea of making the sun run. Okay, making the sun run means making life energetic, or making the sun run away when so that we forget about him for the moment. At this moment of pleasure, at this moment of togetherness, we seem to not feel sun or mortality, and that's the idea. But there is another implication of the sun here, because sun is sun puns with son. Sun puns with 就是同音字 Okay, sun and son, sun. So in other words, here again, there are two implications. One is having sex and producing a baby. So if we cannot make our time stand still, we'll make the time run faster, run to the fullest, and also we'll produce a sun to make him run longer than us. So that's the final implication of this to his coemus. Okay.